Welcome to Get Better Basketball Live. I'm Coach DeMarco, and today my guest is Wilmington College assistant basketball coach Cassie Lastivka. Coach Lastivka is going to discuss a topic that's very near and dear to my heart: defense. You're not going to want to miss this episode. But before we jump into it, make sure you hit that like button down below, turn on your notifications, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great video breakdowns each and every week. Another Get Better Basketball Live is up now. Marco here with Get Better Basketball Live, and today my guest is Coach Cassie Lastivka, assistant basketball coach at Wilmington College. Coach, thanks for joining me today.
Coach, thank you for having me.
The popular part of practice is, the finishing aspect. So what does that look like for you guys at Wilmington College? How do you teach finishing, and are there some drills or ideas that you could share with coaches to help them improve finishing with their team?
Yeah, so for us, we got a benefit last year because of COVID. The NCAA didn't count weeks like they usually do. We counted days. So we ended up losing in the quarterfinal to the reigning OAC champion that went on. So we had 28 days left in the spring. So for us, we were like, well, let's do like actual skill training with them. So in the spring, and this is something that we'll carry on for this year, is we really focused on 2-foot finishes. We weren't bad with 1 foot. We just didn't know how to read when to go off 1 foot and when to go off 2 feet. So we never usually went off 2 feet. So we were always shooting unbalanced, and we didn't realize that you have so many pivot moves when you go off 2 feet. Like there's a variety. So a lot of our kids were kind of shocked and surprised.
So excited to check out some of the finishing drills. It looks like we have one here, Coach.
Yeah, so I stole this from one of the Wright State assistant coaches who was formerly at Cedarville, John. He called it blind 1v1, and I stole a lot of 1v1s, which I'm pretty sure other coaches have utilized as well. But I like this because it worked on our defense too, of kind of reacting, but it also worked on our offense of getting to the rim and knowing, hey, I got a defender on my backside. What type of finish can I utilize? Like I was really big on teaching them the extended finish because we tried to shoot too many normal grade school layups where your elbows attached to the string and everything, and we were getting blocked because all the post defense wants to do is just go straight up. You actually extend it out, you're probably going to get fouled. So for them, and I'll share this, is basically they got to read and react, and we also wanted our players to kind of veer off their defender and really focus on they initiate the contact first, because we weren't really good at it last year. Of when we dribble drive and we got to our spot, we sometimes got pushed off our line because we were afraid as an offensive player to kind of make contact. So for them, this one, especially this blind one, them getting to the hoop aggressively, but also them focusing on what type of finish can I use. I need to veer off my defender, like Haley right there, who's one of our rising sophomores, made a decent pull-up. So again, it's just kind of them reading and reacting. Kind of another thing that we've done is like working on reading a help side defender. So we would have like a offensive player on the ball, strong side block, their defender right behind them. As soon as she dribbled around like a cone here, she had to sprint and touch the other block and kind of basically come over like she was a help defender. Again, the offensive player has to make a read. Another one that I like, we did this at our high school before I got to Wilmington as well, was kind of paint 1v1. So all they could utilize is the paint area as an offensive player. If they stepped on the line or stepped out, it was depending on your discretion, it was a turnover. So again, they're working in tight space, but it also worked on our defense as well, which I know we'll talk about later, of our hip angles. So we were really bad at our first step would always drop backwards. So we were always getting beat to the basket. So it was I liked that 1v1 a little bit better because it was twofold. It worked on our defensive positioning, but it also worked offensively in a tight space. When your defender cuts you off, what is your counter move? Because some players, they just stop. They get cut off and they have no other feel for the game or what can I do? We wanted to really hone in on our players of you get cut off, what's your next move? Because the defense is always going to take something away from you. You got to be able to make a feel. So, we taught a lot of spin moves, quick ball handling, again, tight spacing. So quick crossovers or just veering off and being able to get downhill. So those are just a few 1v1s that we've done that I liked, because I think I like 1v1 a little bit better. We've done 2v2 as well, but again, just keeping them in tight space and kind of giving them disadvantages or advantages.
Coach, what I really like about this, if you could just play it through one more time, is, as you notice the coaches out there watching, starting behind the defender, you have to actually, it really forces the offensive player to initiate the contact. As you kind of mentioned earlier, they have to get through that defender and almost back on top of them to create an advantage for themselves. So I really like this for the reasons that you said. And I can see your players here as they go through, the offensive players really leaning in, taking that contact, extending their arm, and really doing a nice job finishing. So they're doing a great job. I love that pull up right there too. She's pretty smooth on that one, but just a really cool drill for coaches out there. And I know this is a really popular one, and this is a really nice look at it. Your players are doing a great job. I like that too. As well, a little stride stop from your player number 15 there and turning back. So the rondo, the stride stop, whatever you want. So many different names for these moves nowadays, but that's a really cool one too. So you can see them working on the contact, the stride stop, the pull up. I mean, they're getting so much out of this basic, this one drill. So it's very cool to watch.
Yeah, and you can even, what I like about doing 1v1, depending on your roster size and how many baskets, like we have 6 baskets, so we had a pair. Now we were a little bit bigger, so we had a group of 3 here, but they're getting a lot of reps off because we just paired them at each basket. So they always start on the right side for about 2 minutes, and then they go to the left side for 2 minutes.
Now, do you guys, I know these are probably workouts and stuff, but thinking about if you were to do this in a practice or maybe in a workout too, it's highly competitive in nature, right? Players that are competing for playing time at the college level that, really want to get the upper hand on the other player and obviously make each other better individually. But do you do anything in terms of scoring as you put a group of players at a basket where they can also compete point-wise in these types of finishing drills?
Yeah, so we did a couple 1v1 stuff in practice last year, and even when we did it in the high school level, and we would always, it was basically we would depend first to 5 or first to 7, and you played 3 games. So if you won, say you were the first one to 5, you won game 1. So then you play again, and it's the best out of 3. If you won at your basket, depending on the time and everything, you either didn't run or do the punishment, or we would sometimes have losers rotate baskets and winners kind of stay. So you can always mix it up, but we always played either first to 5 or first to 7, and then it's best out of 3 at those baskets.
That's awesome. Love adding in that as well. And obviously it's competitive by nature anyways, but you add in the points too, and you see some players really get after it. So I just wanted to ask you, as well, we're still on finishing. What is it? I know you talked about those finishing off 2 feet. I know there's a great Villanova video that makes its rounds on YouTube with all their 2-foot finishes. Is there anything else this year in terms of finishing that you're going to be working on with your players specifically?
Yeah, like I said, we'll really focus on our 2-foot stops, but I want to focus on kind of how to make that read of whether to go off 1 foot or 2 feet, because there's a difference between it, especially if you're shoulder to shoulder or your defender slightly ahead of you, you're probably going to want to go off 2 feet. That way you can counter if they cut you off, or you're able to go up balanced physically. If they're slightly behind you, that's where you probably want to go off 1 foot, kind of extend it out a little bit, mix it up between, wrong foot extended or inside hand extended, or, just a simple outside hand extension. So kind of getting them a little bit more better at what is the better footwork depending on how my defender's playing me.
Well, Coach, I so appreciate what you have shared with us tonight. So many great coaching points, and I'm going to go back and watch this a couple times and take some notes, which I like to do when I talk to coaches. I'm like, really love what they had to say about that. And it gives me a chance to go back and to reflect. And if coaches want to reach out to you, if they have questions about anything that you talked about tonight, is there a way that they can connect with you either on social media or email or whatever other way?
Yeah, so my email can be found on our website, but my Wilmington email is Cassie_Lastivka at wilmington.edu. My social media handle is at _ Coach Cass. If they want to reach me by phone, I'm happy to give my cell phone number out too. Just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to email or send my cell phone or even DM me on Twitter and I'll send my cell phone out because I'm big on texting too because with recruiting and everything, I'm already on my phone as much. So I'm okay with a simple phone call or a text as well.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. I know some coaches are going to be taking advantage and, reaching out to you. And I feel fortunate I had a chance to, we've done this once before and feel fortunate I had a chance to talk hoops with you once again and hopefully in the future. But best of luck with your upcoming season. It sounds like you have some good pieces in place and hope you guys have a great year.
Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. And I always love hopping on and talking hoops with you too.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.